Hi students, Assalamu alaikum. This is Wahid Yusuf, your English teacher, with a new topic, that is editing. So in this lecture, we'll be discussing editing. As far as your syllabus is concerned, you have certain grammar topics in your syllabus in which there are topics like narration, which we completed. We have modals, we have a relative clause, we have articles, and we have this editing. And the revised syllabus talks about these topics. There was some other topics in the previous syllabus like jumbling, but I couldn't find jumbling in the revised syllabus which has been revised this year. So we have all these topics, that is articles, a narration, and then modals, then a relative clause, and then editing in grammar. So this is most probably the last topic of grammar section of your syllabus, and after that we'll come to a writing cycles. We have some 4 or 5 writing cycles in our syllabus, and we'll also discuss them one by one in detail. But before that, we'll finish the topic, that is editing. See what actually this editing is. It is an easy and but tricky. It is easy but tricky topic, because if a person knows what are prepositions, if a person knows how to use articles, how to use prepositions, how to use tenses, how to use different verb forms at different places, so it is very easy for him. So some basic knowledge of some grammatical aspects is very necessary as far as editing is concerned. We should know some grammatical aspects, basic grammatical aspects, then we can do editing. And I hope that you all know about these things. For example, tenses you have done. You know what are tenses, how to use them, how to use different tense forms, and verb forms, different verb forms, prepositions, articles, conjunctions, etc. So when we know how to use them, when we know their usage, we can very easily edit a passage very easily, and we can earn some marks here. See, editing is a stage of a writing process. It is a stage of writing process in which a writer strives to improve a draft by correcting errors. So a writer, or we can say editor. We have 2 types of editing, but you don't have to do anything with that. We have some practical, we should know the practical aspect of editing. See, it is a writing process. It is a writing process in which a writer or editor strives to improve a draft by correcting errors. For example, a writer has written something. But now he is revising that. He is reading that because he wants to spot an error in that, and he wants to correct that error. He wants to correct errors. So that is what editing is called. Or you want to write something, and for example, you write a book, and you send that book to your editor, and your editor will spot the errors, and he'll correct them. So that is what editing is known as. And as far as editing is concerned, as far as the editing which is in your syllabus, as far as the editing which is asked in your exam, which is asked in your examination is concerned, that is different. See, I'll tell you how you are asked this question, the question of editing in your exam. For example, you have some, you will be given a passage. Your paper will contain a passage. For example, you have a passage of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. For example, this is your paper, and you have a passage of 8 lines. And your question asks you. This is how it is asked in your exam. You have a question about this passage, and the question asks you that there is one error in each line. For example, this line contains one error. This line contains one error. One error. We have to do two things. One, we have to spot that error. Which word is which word we have to spot that error. For example, the word which doesn't fit itself in the line, we have to spot that, and we have to replace that as well. We have to replace that. For example, if I give you an example, he go to market yesterday. He go to market yesterday. So spotting error, the word go is the error here. That is what doesn't fit in the sentence. So I'll write, for example, go here, because this is what is the error. What is the error in the line? And I'll write went. I went to the market yesterday. So two things are very necessary when you attempt this question. When you attempt this question, that is editing. That is editing. You'll do one thing. In every line there would be an error. In every line there would be an error. So one error in every line. You should make note of this. You should make note of this. You should remember this, that every line contains an error. Not two errors. Not three errors. Just one error. That is how the questions are asked. How the questions are asked. In normality, there can be so many errors in a line. There can be no error in a line. But here, as far as your examination is concerned, every line contains one error. Every line contains one error. You have to spot that error, and you have to replace that word with a new word that would fit the line. That would fit the line. So this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. So you will be asked about something, some passage would be there, paragraph would be there, but in different lines, in 4, 5, 6, 7 lines, and in every line there would be a single error. There would be an error, and you have to spot that and replace that word with a new word. Replace that word with a new word. So two things you have to do with every line. One, spotting, error spotting, and second, replacing that error with a new word that will fit the line. Now the question is, how would we spot the errors and how would we replace them? How would we spot the errors and how would we replace them? So for this thing, we have to take care of certain things. We have to take care of certain things where we can find errors. See, as far as editing is concerned, so first thing, we have to take care of tenses and verb forms. Tenses and verb forms. Most errors found in editing are related to tenses, or related to verb forms, or related to verb forms. For example, is, am, are, was, were. Is, am, are, was, were. We use verbs base form plus ing with them. Always. We use verbs base form plus ing with them in active voice. In active voice. And in passive voice, we use V3 with them. Because in passive voice, every word in passive voice, we use verbs third form. We use verbs third form. But so these things we should know. These things we should know. For example, first thing we have to take care of is tenses. For example, we would have a line. He is go to school. This is just a simple sentence to make you understand in a very simple language. He is go to school. So this is an error. He is going to school is the correct sentence. Is the correct sentence. For example, I'll write she was helped him She was helped him. She was helped him. See, what is the error? This V3 verbs are past participle form is error. We should write she was helping him. If it would have been like this, she was, for example, I'll write again, she was helping by him. She was helping by him. What would be the correct? This helping would get replaced by helper because it is passive. It is passive. It is passive. So in passive we use V3, and in active voice we use V plus ing with is, am, or, was, and were. So tense, I'll simply say tense. You have to take care of tense while you attempt the editing, while you attempt the passage of editing. You have to take care of verb forms. You have to take care of verb forms. For example, he are a boy. He are a boy. So it should be he is a boy. It should be he is a boy. They was busy. It should be they were busy. It should be they were busy. So these are some small tricks. These are some small tricks. For example, he can did it. He can did it. He can did it. So we should know the rule of modulus. Modulus take verb's first form. So it will become he can do it. He can do it. 1 second, I'll rub the board first. So first thing, tenses and verbs. Tenses and verbs. You should know how tenses are used. Their structures you should know. That is how you can find an error. You can spot an error and you can replace that word. You can replace that word. You should know which verb form to use with which which subject or subject. So this is what is very necessary as far as editing is concerned. As far as editing is concerned. For example, they may came today. They may came today. So error is this. It is verb's second form, past form, and it is modal auxiliary. It is modal auxiliary. Modal auxiliaries always are accompanied by V1, verb's base form. So it will become they may come today. They may come today. So these are the errors. For example, she is enjoyed the ride. So not enjoyed but enjoying the ride. She is enjoying the ride. They have applying the post. They have applying for the post. So it will be they have applied for the post. They have applied for the post. I believe that you know all these tenses very well. You know all these tenses very well. That is what I believe. So first thing we have to take care of is tenses and verbs. Tenses and verbs. So errors can be there related to tenses, related to verbs. Second, concord. Concord means subject verb agreement. Subject verb agreement. For example, she are five. She are five. So this is plural. This is singular. So when the subject is singular, the verb should also be singular. So it will become is. It will become is. For example, Rahim and Sham is the best friends. So two subjects. So plural subject. Plural subject. So it will become are. Rahim and Sham are the best friends. friends. So subject verb agreement or concord, that is when the subject agrees with the verb. When the subject agrees with the, we write he play football. He play football. So this is plural. This is plural. It should be he plays football. He plays football. So all these rules concerning subject verb agreement, concerning concord, they are followed, and we have to take care of these rules. So first thing, while we attempt the passage of editing, we have to take care of tenses, we have to take care of verbs, and then we have to take care of subject verb agreement. It is very easy when we do the examples. I'll get some passages which are asked in the board papers, and we'll also attempt them, and you will see how simple and straight they are, if provided that you have all these grammatical knowledge of tenses, of concord or other things. Third is articles. Fourth is prepositions. These four things, tenses, concord, articles and prepositions, these four things are very necessary. Yes, sometimes about we have to change some conjunctions. Sometimes the punctuation rules are there, particularly capitalization. But these four rules, they are very necessary as far as this editing is concerned. I cannot say them rules. So these four things, they are taken into consideration when we attempt a passage of editing. So articles, for example, we shall write he is a youngest son of his father. He is the youngest son of his father. So if we try to spot an error, this is superlative degree. Superlative degree of young. Superlative degree of young. So with superlative degrees, we use definite article. So better is he is the youngest son of his father. He is the youngest son of his father. So this is the error of article. How articles are sometimes found, and how they are sometimes they can act as errors sometimes, and we have to change them, we have to replace them, and only we can make the sentence perfect in its sense. And then prepositions, for example, he is in a bus stand. He is in a bus stand. So we should know that we should use at here. He is at a bus stand. He is at a bus stand. So for example, another example I'll give you. People come here on 3:30 p.m. So we should know that we should use at. So you better know that while we make use of prepositions, usage of prepositions, with time we use at, with dates we use on, with days we use on, with years we use in. So that is how we use these prepositions. And then conjunctions. Sometimes an error can be there related to conjunction, an error can be there related to conjunction. So simply I would say that when we attempt a passage, and when we have to edit that passage, when we have to find an error and replace that error, we should take care of these things: tenses or verb forms, one; second, subject verb agreement; third, articles; fourth, prepositions and conjunctions and sometimes there can be these punctuation rules, particularly regarding to capital letters, and these things we have to take care of while attempting a question, while attempting a passage related to editing. And in coming lecture, inshallah we'll solve some 2 or 3 passages, and you will see how easy it is to find an error and replace that. It is very easy because the question is asked in an easier way. How? You are asked to find one error in a line. So half of the question is done. Half of the question is done there. That you have been told that there is an error. You have been told that there is an error in this line, and you have been told that there is one error in this line, and you have to spot that. So first thing, your half work is done. You don't have to find whether there is any error in this line or not. So one thing is done for you, that you know that there is an error in the line. Now your thing is you have to search, you have to find that error, and you have to replace that. And as far as the passages, the examples you are asked in the exam, that are simple to attempt, and I believe that you can get 100% marks out of this editing topic as well, because it is very easy. But you just need to know all these things, and I believe you have done them. You have done them in previous classes. You have done them in general. For example, articles every student knows. Prepositions you have been taught from class 2nd, 3rd. What are prepositions? Parts of speech. So all these parts of speech they play an important role in solving this passage of editing. So tenses, you must know these tenses, verb forms, and subject verb agreement concord. You have in your syllabus, in 10th class syllabus, we have subject verb agreement. I think in very first or second or third, in first 3 lessons, you will find this subject verb agreement. So you can help yourself by reading that. If you don't have good hold on that, you can read that. Very easy rules are there, and then as far as editing is concerned, you can do it very easily. So with this I conclude today's lecture. Have a nice day. Thank you, and Allah Hafiz.